'Tis I, Hefe, yet again, and you have joined me. First off, I'm doing this on WrestleMania Saturday, and I just got back from a long day, so I do have WrestleMania on in the background. It is muted, so I can do this. Went up to a Comic-Con, drove 2.5 hours, which is something I typically don't do. I'm going to show you some of the things that I had signed, had picked up. I'm going to have to do 2 videos because this giant box, that is sitting on my couch, giant box, was a mystery box. And so I bought this hours ago and literally was carrying this around the con. It does have some weight to it. And I have no idea what the hell's in it. It's like Christmas, but I actually waited. So, let's show you where I was. South Carolina Comic-Con in Greenville, South Carolina. I just realized Jim Lee did this. Quick side note, Jim Lee was one of the guests there. You know, I realized I completely skipped his table. I know he had a panel, so anyway, as I was going up the escalator and getting ready to go with my wristband, I saw him walking by. So I just said, nobody else was in the area. I said, "Good morning, Mr. Lee." He just looked over and said, "Good morning," greeted me back. And so I had a personal experience with one Mr. Jim Lee. Let me get on with this. So this is like a little, they did have swag there if you want to pick some stuff up, but go through this, blah, blah, blah. Try and get through. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, Jim Lee had his own, as we can see. There's a cosplay contest. That's tomorrow. There's a lot of people that were there in different uniforms. Some of them look kind of cool. So, these are people that are voiceover actors and or regular actors. A lot of it you'll see is a lot of anime. A Power Ranger, Danhausen, and where is he? Brody King from AEW. We all know her from The Office. The other Power Ranger. Look at these top 3. Lou Diamond Phillips, William friggin' Shatner, John Rhys Davies, and Steamboat. I mean, you had some really good people here. Excuse me. What they did is they took the artist guests, kind of, and they told you what table they're at. This is a brilliant way to do it, because on the next page, here's the layout of the entire floor. They actually had a blood drive there. My legs are so tired. Artist Alley. This is 1, 2. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Sticky Fingers was there? Oh, okay, it was local. Okay. I ended up just getting a pizza that was there, and that kind of helped me over. And aside from the artists, there were the vendors. 1, 2, 3 pages. Okay. So that's that. Let's get into why we are doing this video. Andy Fish. I looked him up. I use Comic Pricing Guide to track my collection. I did not own anything that he did, or I don't know if it's his wife or sister, Lisa Fish, but he had prints there. So this was kind of cool. And then he had an alternate with the pink. I figured, let me support a little more. I said he had 2 versions of this. They're just different colors. I said, well, Mr. Fish, which is the more limited? And you realize he signed this one 3 of 50. So I picked this one up, and that's Veronica, not Lisa, Veronica Fish. So Andy and Veronica Fish, we got some stuff from their table. I'm going to show you this real quick. Now, Snowy Works Comics, I don't know them. They're kind of an indie. They just kind of came about. But let me show you why I'm doing this. They're coming from Savage Sandbox. I talked to one of the guys, and apparently they have a few different lines. Like I told him I like horror. He had a horror line. They have a D&D kind of fantasy line. This was their card. So if you want to follow them on Instagram, Savage Sandbox Comics, Slate Comics. So I guess each of the titles will come out on a different comic. Like this says Snowy Works. And this is a character, I can't remember the name of it. He had it graded at a 9.8, and he did a negative, kind of like David Nakayama does, negative space. The cover looked beautiful in a graded 9.8. However, by the time I finished getting all my other autographs and everything like that, I just ran out of money. So actually, he gave me this one for free. So he actually took a picture of it, or he took a picture of it of me holding it, show his guy, because this guy that does this, I think is up in Detroit or Wisconsin or something like that. So he's trying to show him that, yes, they're promoting their stuff. What do you think of this? This is cool. I love this print. Okay, let's get into some of this. So, Jim Shooter was there. Got Shooter on the Secret Wars #1. Got Shooter on the Captain Action #1. And we got Shooter on the Adventure Comics number, what was it, 370. So, next one we went to was Steranko. Steranko, I'm sorry, I got to switch back to this. Some of y'all have met Steranko before at Heroes Con. Obviously, I've never been to Heroes Con. He was promoting the crap out of it. I mean, we all know Heroes Con is the premier Comic Con on the East Coast that's not NYCC. That period. NYCC, Heroes Con. Right? We were just gathering around, like me, and I went by myself, but there's obviously a bunch of other fans and people standing there, and he was just going through stories of how George Lucas called him, said that Lucas and Spielberg had an idea for a character, but they didn't know what he would look like. So they went to Steranko. And if you've seen him, if you've met him, he's a short little guy, looking like a soprano good fella. And he was talking about this story about him going out to dinner and everything with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Steranko designed Indiana Jones. You know, Spielberg wanted the hat, the fedora, much like Treasure of Sierra Madre. And then Lucas wanted the bomber jacket. So Steranko came up with the khakis. He came up with the chin. They came up with the bandolier. It's just, he went over the story, and he was going through some of his other books that he has of the majority of his artwork, his history of the comics, and Steranko's an amazing guy. I sat there after the few other guys left, and I was fixing to get my book signed, and he asked me about myself. So I told him, I'm a veteran. I'm doing what I do now. And he was so appreciative of my service and even what I do now. I said, sir, no, thank you for the support, first off, but thank you also for what you do. So it's the personal interactions when you actually get the time to spend with these in the right circles, the celebrities in the right circles. Okay, this was Ron Garley, I think. He did the cover. I think this is Garley. I didn't even know I had this. I stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning just trying to go through names and try to pull comics out. This, I think, was a one-shot, so it was a cool cover. Ron Garney also did Wolverine #1, and apparently there's an error to this, a variant error to this comic. I have the regular one, but the error is inside. There's 2 pages that were mixed up with another comic. But still, this is another one. Awesome. Just shocked that I had this cover and he was going to be there. But most of us probably know him as a writer of Berserker. Ron Garney is the writer of Berserker. Thankfully, I was able to have my one per store, even though I had other ones from Miko and things like that. So now I have this one signed by Mr. Garney. Venditti. Venditti, this was actually a Motor City Comic Con exclusive, only available there. This was his last one. I said, are you willing to sell it? I'm a Superman fan. We all know that. So, yeah, I paid, and he signed it, and so I have a Motor City Comic Con Detroit exclusive Superman 78 #1. And with that, he also did the backup story for this book, or this was the lot. It's Bad Idea Comics. You can kind of see his autograph right there. He did the backup story, but the backup story for this, and he gave me this, leads into this. And there it is, Venditti right there. And it's from Bad Idea. So that's kind of cool. But doing the fact that he wrote 78, #1. Yeah, I had my one with Miko signed and everything like that, but I had a secondary copy and I just wanted Rob to sign on his own. So I have that now. Let's get into some of the other stuff. Those are kind of the big ones. Shooter and Steranko and those guys. We've all seen Grease. We all know this guy. I did not know he was there. I loved him in Grease. He does the voice of one of the kids, the annoying kid from Polar Express. I loved Midnight Madness. Midnight Madness was a early mid-'80s movie. It was Michael J. Fox's debut movie, Midnight Madness, and also starred David Naughton, who starred in American Werewolf in London. And it's the premise of it, these college kids are all cliquey and they all have teams of friends. And it's a scavenger hunt. That's kind of like where the premise came from for a lot of people that did them after the movie came out. Each team would go to different locations and try and find clues to the next place. Sadly, he thought he had some Midnight Madness pictures, but he didn't. So one where he's over there with Yachts or Putz and Yahtzee or whatever the hell his boy's name is. Jeff Best Wishes. He was a really good guy. He really looks the same for somebody who now I think you can tell from my shirt. This shirt I got from a Kickstarter. The only reason I know about this shirt and this project is when they threw Danhausen's name on it. So I just dropped it. Danhausen Cryptic Closet Comics. Let me just... Bam! Here it is. From Guerrilla Publishing. It was issue 3. This was the comic. There's Danhausen's signature. And he actually even did a little remark, which was really awesome. There's Danhausen's name. And the cool thing is, it actually is in 3D. It does come with a pair of 3D glasses. And even was in 3D. I had a secondary pair of glasses, and people were looking at my shirt throughout the day, and just... But here's the other thing. I actually have a Heels and Faces, which Danhausen also signed and remarked. So he just went from his little old DH signature to actually he's getting a little more fancy with his signature. My experience with him was amazing. I really respect Danhausen for his interacts with his fans. I told him that I sent him a package, fan mail, probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he was actually opened it on one of his shows. And of course, that man used to get shit ton of fan mail, and he would always do YouTube unboxings. I said it was the one that had the Walking Dead #1 slab. And I remember you asked your cameraman or producer if it was real. I said, sir, that was real, and that's from me. And he thanked me. He said he still has it, and he loves it. So, all right, we're almost done with this one. You know what? Let me just. William Shatner. That's William Shatner's signature. But, this would have been enough. But not for me. Not for me. I've talked about movies before, my love of movies. I think I've mentioned being raised in a theater. A lot of people may think it's a joke. My father was a projectionist in the late 70s and early 80s. So, I end up with things that my father passed on to me. He's still alive, but he betrothed them to me, if you will, knowing that I appreciate movies. So one of the things that he passed on was a Star Trek motion picture movie poster. This is an official movie poster. Read the small print. Property national screening. I think if it says it here, connection with exhibition of picture. Yeah. Not to trade, sell, give away, or permit other than use, nor shall license entitled to any credit, blah, 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 blah. I like this. This material must be returned or destroyed immediately after use. An advanced first sheet. Yeah, it does have push pins. I mean, back in the 70s, they didn't know any better. It is folded. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, movie posters came folded. Nobody knew about the tubes and everything like that. So I open this up for Mr. William Shatner, and he says, and especially when I showed him the first sheet, that is an actual, back in the day, they also didn't come double-sided. He said, it's rare. I said, sir, I know, but can you please sign it? That's William Shatner's signature. And it says, boldly go. So, Shatner. I want him to say to boldly go. He only does 2 words, so we condensed it to just boldly go. I have unofficial Star Trek motion picture movie poster, official, signed by one William Shatner. When I tell you I had a good day, that's just the celebrities and the artists and the writers that were there. My interaction with the public, the other guests, waiting in line, and just even some of the vendors, especially for my shirt. Where'd it go? My little Danhausen figure that I had, I kept in this. Well, I kept an extra pair of 3D glasses. So let me try this in English. Anytime somebody stopped me, I would dig in my bag. I took an old GameStop PlayStation bag, and I would hand them the glasses, and they would look at my shirt, and people were like, oh, wow, like, it was amazing. It's kind of a shame it was a Kickstarter, but it kind of gives the limitedness of it. And yeah, I saw Danhausen walking among the crowd later on before I left. I said, excuse me, sir. He said, yes. I said, I just want to let you know people are loving your shirt. And he just smiled a huge smile and said, thank you for him. Very nice, very evil Danhausen. He was with Brody Lee. Brody Lee was out of character, so it was so nice to see them. I love when they're out of character, talking to people. That man's a giant. That man's like 6'5" or something like that. I mean, I'm 6 foot. Brody Lee, I was going like, damn. It was a great day. It was a great day. I'm glad I went up there. Now I got to stop this because now I got to do that box. If you watch this all the way through, it's only 18 minutes. You know I appreciate you. You know all the begging stuff I asked for. Please like, comment. I mean, something here should have stoked your interest. You know, should have piqued your interest. Let me know if any of these things tickle your fancy, give you a little warm and fuzzy. If you would have liked to have any of these things in your collection. Who doesn't want a William Shatner signed original Star Trek? Oh my God. I got to take a picture of that now and send it to my father. I told him about it. I told them when I visited my family last month, I said, hey, there's a con coming up and I'm thinking about going. Last night I just said, fuck it. Went through part of my collection after I go through and see who's there and see what comics I got. And so yeah, I can't thank my father enough. I don't know if I'm going to call him. My WrestleMania's fixing to come on in 5 minutes or so. Maybe I'll call him tomorrow. Send him a picture tomorrow. I'll be like, hey, by the way, remember what I said last month? Well, thank you for the poster because here it is. Now I got to find a place to get that shit framed. Let me end this. Y'all, we are an amazing community. We take care of each other. I thank you all for watching. I do thank you all for being subscribers. If you are, if not, please do. Until next time, y'all, God bless. If I don't get to this tonight because I'm watching WrestleMania, I might do it after WrestleMania. So, I'm going to upload this video now. But that boxing, this giant, let me just, all right, ready? I'm putting my phone down. This thing's as big as my torso. Like, I kid you not. And people are wondering. I mean, they had the ones that look like that, and ones that look like the old Game Boys. I put them with the controller instead. They said it could have been plushies, it could have been blankets, it could have been ramen bowls, it could have been anything anime, pop culture. $50? Fuck it, let's do it. I'm shutting up now. Appreciate you all. Until next time.